Hubba, hubba, hubba. Surprise, surprise, surprise. You know, there's a lot of hypocrisy out of here. Remember when on Collider Video, John Schnapp, John Campia, Mark Ellis, and Company Limited were talking about Captain America Civil War? How it's so rewatchable. You can watch it over and over again. Thought about that. You know? Does that translate into total domestic video sales? Home box office? Does it? Well, this is their domestic video sales so far. 74,526,648. Alright. Cool. Remember that horrible film, Batman v Superman? Guess what? It has higher domestic video sales than Captain America Civil War. That's right. Captain America Civil War has 74,526,000, almost 527,000. But Batman v Superman has 74,745,000. It's more. Moving on. Suicide Squad obviously has more than Batman v Superman, therefore more than Suicide Squad. Also has more than Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, if I were to go with just the Rotten Tomato scores, how many critics actually like these movies, hands down Avengers Age of Ultron and Captain America Civil War would be the more liked movies by the critics. Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad would be atrociously not liked by the critics. Therefore they say Rotten Tomato score, right? But yet, they seem to be more rewatchable based on home market performance than both Captain America Civil War and Avengers Age of Ultron. At least in terms of Suicide Squad. So that means Suicide Squad's more rewatchable right now than Captain America Civil War and Avengers Age of Ultron? See, the numbers tell a different story to what these people who didn't like the movie were saying. I remember they saying everyone don't like Batman v Superman. I remember this stupid talk. I remember they say vast majority of fans and critics didn't like it. Well, that's a lie. It wasn't true. See, it's politically correct to say certain things to get clickbait. You know? So that's why I don't really give a damn about the critical assessment of Wonder Woman. At tops, 300 people are going to be giving their comments. 300 people do not represent millions and millions of people. They don't. Also, box office talks. Money talks, bullshit walks. And the money is saying that people like Batman v Superman. And they watch it more than Captain America Civil War. And people like Suicide Squad. And why you buy a DVD and Blu-ray is to rewatch a movie over and over again and collect it. You don't collect movies you don't like. It just doesn't happen. And when it comes to Suicide Squad, people like it more and collect it more than Avengers Age of Ultron and Captain America Civil War. Supposedly one of the best comic book movies of 2016. Okay, people? Just saying. Remember when the critics liked Ghostbusters? Remember that? How'd that turn out? So not everything the critics like means it's good. Or it's better than stuff that the critics don't like. There's no way in hell Ghostbusters is a better movie than Man of Steel. And how easily can you speak about that? Well, it's simple. Man of Steel had certain goals it set out to accomplish. Certain things the director wanted you to know. When you see the story, you would see what the story was telling you. And Ghostbusters also had certain things it wanted to accomplish. So, why did it become a box office flop? Well, because Ghostbusters was supposed to be about hilarious new characters. It was about being funny. And when you look at the genre it's in, which is what you do with these movies, you see what kind of movie it is. So the genre is action and adventure, comedy, science fiction, and fantasy. The comedy aspect of Ghostbusters failed. It was supposed to be funny. The funniness is what carries us through the action and adventure and the science fiction. Okay? And it wasn't that. It wasn't funny. Not funny enough to carry the story, which was not much of a story. The original Ghostbusters. It was funny because of the novelty of it. Like Superman 1978, which was a novelty. That novelty didn't carry on, it wore off. So you have to reinvent the franchise of Superman to be able to carry it. And so the second Superman that was reinvented, Man of Steel, was able to carry at the box office. Superman just was not profitable at the box office. What Sony made their mistake was they didn't reinvent Ghostbusters. They thought by changing and flipping the gender of the movie, that would be enough, and it wasn't. You understand? So Wonder Woman is not just about flipping and, oh, it was a male superhero, now we just put a female superhero. That would have flopped. Elektra flopped, Catwoman flopped because of that. You have to change and reimagine not only Wonder Woman, but also reimagine what a superhero is and what's their focus. That's why Wonder Woman will be a success where Ghostbusters failed, where Elektra failed, where Catwoman failed, where Supergirl failed. You understand? So, not everything that the critics can say is fresh is actually fresh. That's why what I value more is this: the audience score. And another reason why I don't value the critics so much and the people in the industry is because they're being fanboys and they're also being dishonest. They put negative spins on certain things now. Back in the day, the old critics, they were more objective with things. They would look at a movie, see what the story was telling, and then on their second viewing, they would see how effective that story was told. And then they can talk about the movie in terms of all the elements that are involved. Today, critics go into movies with their minds made up about them, especially Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, etc. They intended to bring these movies down. They were trying to close down the DCEU. It was a deliberate attempt on Suicide Squad, which was a pretty decent movie. Right? It was a decent movie. And don't tell me about the traditional methods of storytelling. First, look at the storytelling. What was the story? If you can't tell me what the story for Suicide Squad is, forget it. Forget it. So, you have to at least know the story that's being told so that you can actually assess it. Right? And that's the problem with these critics today. They're going in, trying to pick apart a film, destroy a film, instead of go in there to hear what the film has to say and then see how effective it was in saying it. And that's why you have a dichotomy in Suicide Squad and in Batman v Superman. These films are rated fresh by the audience, whether it's Metacritic or wherever. But by the critics, they're seen as flops. And the audience is what counts. And if the audience thinks the film is fresh, believe you me, they'll support that film and will not flop at the box office. The critics tried to flop Suicide Squad. They tried to flop Batman v Superman. They tried to flop Man of Steel. And they tried more and more and more with each consecutive movie. And people go off of the critical reception of it to say these are bad movies. That's what's happening. The aggregating Rotten Tomatoes because most critics say it's a bad movie. These movies are not bad movies. If they were bad movies, people wouldn't be buying them on DVD and Blu-ray. No, they're good movies. But what people say, traditional judging of movies, they're not that. And people watch my videos because I hear a lot of people start to echo and imitate my what I've been saying all along. Alright? And people call me all kinds of names. Defender of the DCEU. You're a DCEU defender. I'm not a DCEU defender. I'm just one of the people who speaks the truth. Other people say I'm a traitor to the DCEU and the traitor to DC movies. Other people call me, I'm not a DC fanboy. I'm a liar. I'm a deceiver. I get all kinds of things. I don't care. I'm here to talk the truth. It's not about DC versus Marvel right now. This is about lies circulated about certain movies. And always, with time, these lies are exposed for lies that they are. And you'll hear liars, just like how they said Man of Steel, it actually was a better movie than I thought it was. They're going to say the same thing for Batman v Superman. Whether it's the theatrical cut or the ultimate cut. I remember people coming out of Batman v Superman saying, I don't know what to think about this movie. You know why you didn't know what to think about this movie? You've never seen a movie like this before. And I heard some people say, I've never seen a movie like this before. Zack Snyder, y'all. You guys have a great one.